But I mean, the song itself is catchy. But more recently, he put out this song that was like more of a Tom McDonald rap song. As I said earlier, he's going down that kind of route. And in the music video for it, he is like Jesus in the video. He's like on a cross. It's a little crazy. But Ronnie is.
I mean, it just looks a bit crazy. You know, kind of like a schizo, I guess you could say. I guess we can react to this one called Fantano's Under Attack. You know, I'm not really a big fan of Anthony Fantano, but I guess I'm kind of curious, like, what does Tom Dark have to say? You know, Turkey Tom, like, what's going on with Anthony Fantano? I guess we may find out.
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well. Today, we're talking about a very special man on the internet, quite possibly the biggest living piece of trash in the world of rock music right now. That's Mr. Ronald Radke.
This man just said that I sexually assaulted someone.
I don't get, why do these musicians have like this weird neck tattoo where it's like all just his whole neck is just covered? Like, why? Like, this is just not really good. I don't know, it looks ugly. I mean, yeah, the chin part looks a bit interesting, but like just the rest of it, it's ugly. What the fuck? I hate this new trend of, you know, tattoos and, you know, rappers and musicians.
Pretty much. He's implying that I did it.
Radke's lawyer says his client repeatedly asked Fantano to take the video down, but after refusing to do so, they feel they have no other choice but to file the suit.
You know what?
Oh shit! It's the Me Canyon video. Actually, no, this was actually a funny one. It was actually so funny. I mean, look at his forehead. Jesus Christ, man. Me Canyon really destroyed Anthony Fantano with this one.
There. Now at least it makes sense why it smells like dookie in here.
What's up, boys? Welcome back to the Tom Dark channel. I'm your host, Tom Dark. Got a new camera today, but that's not really important. What is important is that today we're going to be taking a look at a new lawsuit filed against the internet's busiest music nerd, Anthony Fantano.
Imagine filing like a lawsuit. I mean, obviously nobody likes Anthony Fantano, but like suing him for just stupid reasons, like what the fuck? Like, you know, they're just being desperate at this point. I mean, I'm sorry I had to admit this, but so far, just from what I heard from like 50 seconds into the video, looks like Anthony Fantano is like the one in the right, because there's no way this lawsuit is actually like justified. Because I don't know, especially in this day and age where people are being wrongfully sued for, you know, extremely stupid reasons. I feel like Anthony Fantano is like one of those people now.
A guy who seems to have a habit of making famous music artists really, really mad. Fantano made this troll video where he claimed that Drake slid into his messages to send him a vegan cookie recipe with what is clearly a doctored screenshot. But as it turns out, Drake did actually message him, saying, "Your existence is a light one, and the one is because you're alive, and because you somehow married a black girl. I'm feeling a light to decent one on your existence." And the reason we know this is because Drake...
Damn, okay. Jesus. I mean, it's ironic now because, you know, Drake, especially nowadays,
saw the video and decided to post these messages himself, which obviously led a lot of people to say, why the hell is the biggest rapper in the world messaging some YouTube music critic to like roast him in a very bad way? May I add, like, is Drake really that insecure that Fantano gave him a negative review on some album he made? The answer is probably yes. But if anything, what this does show is that Fantano is someone that musicians do take note of. He is by default the most popular music critic on YouTube, if not in the entire world, at least as far as like online personalities go. And another guy that Anthony has really ripped on over the past while, seemingly way more than Drake even, is Ronnie Radke, the lead...
Oh, but again, with the tattoos, like, even his hands, his arm, what the fuck? I mean, it makes sense. His forehead's alright, you know, it's about Jesus Christ, and I don't know what this is. And obviously, tattoos on his fingers right here. But, like, the rest of his arm is just ugly. What? I hate these types of tattoos, you know what I'm saying, chat? Like, out of anything you could have put on your arm, you just put you know, it's like just drawing with a marker, but it's permanent.
Singer of Falling in Reverse. Now, Ronnie is a guy with a whole history of controversies that I've covered before in a video on the Turkey Tom channel. He was originally in a popular scene or emo band called Escape the Fate, and while in that band, he got himself into a brawl in the middle of the desert that resulted in one person dying and Ronnie getting probation, which he then violated, and as a result, it got him arrested again. Ronnie pled guilty to battery and was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. Now keep in mind, Ronnie didn't kill anyone here. He wasn't, you know, the super violent party here that resulted in someone dying. He was just present for it, and the reason why he went to jail for 2.5 years was because he violated his probation. But once he was out of prison, he formed a new band called Falling in Reverse, a band that would be very successful, but he as a person would still be mired in controversy past that point. In 2012, Ronnie got arrested for not showing up to court hearings regarding his ex-girlfriend who had alleged domestic abuse. Sally Watts claimed that Radke pulled her hair, shoved her face in the ground, gave her a black eye, and she even posted a photo online as evidence of it happening.
Oof. Yeah, that looks a bit rough.
He was released on bail for 30 grand and eventually pled no contest to a lesser charge of disturbing the peace. So it appears that the domestic violence stuff didn't really go through. He wasn't convicted of that. So it's important to note here that Ronnie didn't plead guilty to anything relating to physically harming Sally, being indicative that there probably wasn't enough evidence to convict him. That same year, we also get the mic stand incident, where at one of his shows, he threw some mic stands into the crowd, with one girl getting hit in the head. He was charged with simple assault for that, but he's since talked about the remorse he feels, and he's also claimed that he and the girl are on good terms and that she received a massive settlement from this happening.
I threw some mic stands into the crowd. Okay, I injured somebody. Stupid, right? Yeah, she got a cut. She got some stitches. She's
What the fuck? I didn't know, like, throwing someone... I didn't know you can just throw a microphone to someone's head and they get, like, stitches. I mean, obviously it's a mic, so of course it's gonna hurt, but I didn't know it was, like, that bad. Jesus.
not mad. She got $800,000 for it. She's not mad, guys. You guys are mad, and she's not. You're stupid. You guys are fucking stupid.
Now, in 2015, he was accused of SA by a woman named Casey Boswell. And while it initially had a lot of people up in arms, details around the case revealed that there was really nothing for the supposed victim to stand on. She claimed that it happened on a tour bus, but that entire tour bus was then swabbed by the police, and there was no evidence of the allegations, and ultimately he was never arrested by the police. Now, at the time of this accusation, Ronnie's legal team compiled several defamatory statements by Casey and some of her friends online. She claimed that Ronnie was arrested, that he had to post bail, that there was a kit with the evidence, and that there were witnesses to her side of events, none of which appear to be true at all. So Ronnie ended up suing her for defamation, seeking $15 million. Although, as far as I've been able to find, there's only evidence of him getting $6 grand as a result of winning the lawsuit. But some people still think he got a bit more, which maybe did happen, as he claimed on a TikTok that he got a lot more money than was documented.
Of course you get it wrong. You left this part out. The part where I sued them for millions of dollars and won. And since you didn't put allegedly after everything you said, I could also sue you for millions of dollars and win.
Now, the reason why I'm bringing up all of this is just to say there are a few things that Ronnie's done that definitely happened, like with the mic stand or that incident in the desert, but there's also a lot of misconceptions around these events. For example, people think that Ronnie killed someone in the desert and that he...
What the fuck? I mean, yeah, because, you know, the whole story, but... Obviously, then, like, I don't think he's, like, that bad of a person. Like, I don't think he, like, kills people or anything, but, like, oh, yeah, he definitely does, like, stupid shit, like, especially now with Anthony Fantano's lawsuit.
He's a murderer, but that didn't happen. To this day, some people still believe that he assaulted Casey Boswell, but if you want to talk about evidence, it just doesn't seem to exist, and he ended up winning a defamation case against her, so I think we can probably say definitively that he's innocent in that case. I mean, you know, we gotta go with the innocent until proven guilty presumption here.
Well, yeah, of course.
As for his ex-girlfriend, Sally Watts, and her claims, you can choose to believe her if you want. I think the black eye picture is definitely disturbing, but as far as legal punishment, he wasn't convicted of doing anything, so really, what is there to say here? Maybe there's more evidence as to her claims that I haven't seen, but no one else has managed to compile it thus far. I haven't found it anywhere I've looked online. So as a result, you know, you got to assume innocent until proven guilty in that case, I think. And as a result of a lot of misconceptions against Ronnie, he has a bit of a big chip on his shoulder, okay? Perhaps the biggest chip in the world of rock and roll, and he's been on a bit of a tear lately with his songs. Lately, instead of sounding like a rock artist, a lot of his tracks are sounding more like Tom McDonald. He's rapping about cancel culture a lot in a few songs. One of them, and I gotta disclaim here, you know, I do like some of his music, especially the older stuff. I even don't mind some of the later rock stuff he's done, like you know, the song Zombified. The lyrics are corny as hell. Like in in the song, there's a this part when he's like, they're canceling you, and that is like crazy. That is crazy. That's not good. But I mean, the song itself is catchy. But more recently, he put out this song that was like more of a Tom McDonald rap song. As I said earlier, he's going down that kind of route. And in the music video for it, he is like Jesus in the video. He's like on a cross. It's a little crazy. But Ronnie is.
I mean, it just looks a bit crazy. You know, kind of like a schizo, I guess you could say. I mean, I don't mind, like, you know, him saying, like, cancel culture. But I don't know, like, when it comes to songs talking about cancel culture, it's, I don't know, the writing's, like, usually dog shit. Because, I mean, then again, because, you know, at least, you know, the message is still clear. Like, cancel culture as well, you know, it's shit. Like, it's something that we should never, ever do again. But, I mean, there are still those who get canceled, sadly. But, I mean, maybe some of it's deserved. I don't really look into that stuff because, well, I just think it's stupid. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe the song is good. I need to listen to it after this stream because I don't want to get a copyright strike on this. Okay, chat. But maybe it is good. But usually when it comes to cancel culture and about, you know, society and, you know, all of this social justice, I think those types of music are garbage.
A contentious person for obvious reasons. He feels wronged by certain people who have spread misconceptions about him, and I think that's also fair. And he's got a really diehard fan base for his music, despite the fact that, you know, in some aspects he is a cringy person. Some of the things he's done are really bad, and there's also all these other claims that are not true at all. So it's just like the perfect storm of like bullshit, real shit, Ronnie being him. And on top of that, unfortunately, he's somewhat unable to handle people criticizing him. Y'all remember Brad Taste? Okay.
Oh, fuck that guy.
You remember this guy? He's a whole can of worms in and of itself that I've covered recently, but for the purposes of today, we're just gonna call him a music reviewer. He sits on stream, he listens to an album in full while pausing to give his commentary and thoughts. He like listens to it, he's like, oh, this is fire. Oh, this is not fire. You know, he does that, and then he puts a more cut up version of it on YouTube to avoid copyright claims, because music stuff on YouTube covering it is really difficult to not get claimed by some label, and the label's obviously hard to fight. They're not quick usually.
Well, I mean, I don't know, it's kind of difficult. Like sometimes people play music, especially on stream, and they somehow get away with it. But when people like me play music, we get like copyright claimed or hell, even copyright struck. I don't know, especially when it comes to videos reacting or at least, you know, reviewing music. Somehow those people don't get copyright strike or claim. I don't know. It's something I haven't really like. I need to like look into that. Like, I need to figure out how are these people getting away with it, because you would think that they'll get like at least a strike or a claim, you know, for copyright, but somehow they're just getting away scot-free. Like, do they have like some sort of like behind the scenes deal with like the record label or something like that? Like, because, you know, these are big YouTubers, of course, so they have like a management company or a team that can like handle everything behind the scenes when it comes to like stuff like, you know, record labels and not being able to get copyright claimed or strike. So I don't know. Hopefully it's not that complicated. I hope it's just something that you know, it's like, oh, like don't play this much of the music, or I don't know, like maybe for like a VOD, maybe have the music like muted. I need to look into that, chat. Not right now though.
To retract strikes, even if you use like 1 second of their music, they're really annoying. So Brad cuts it up and puts it on YouTube so he can like make money off of his work. But one day Brad took notice of Ronnie Radke and decided to mock him for his music, just calling him a terrible cringe lord basically in a review of some of his stuff. Well, on August 16th, 2023, hello, that's my birthday, Brad posted to his channel,
and that was like, well, 10 years ago would have been like the 1 year anniversary of this video. Oh wait, oh shit, it's unlisted. What happened?
Claiming that Ronnie had abused the copyright system to take down his videos that were critical of his music.
Just when you thought that Ronnie Radke couldn't be any worse of a human being, he's taken liberty and he's removed it from the internet. Now, of course, I still have it. I still have the folders, and I could easily just edit it and, you know, avoid all the copyright claims, which I might do. But I think it's more important to highlight that he did this, that he went through with this.
And this then started a huge flame war over on Twitter, wherein Brad would call Ronnie a terrible person, and the rest of the world would also chime in. And one of the people who chimed in was the most popular music channel on YouTube.
Starting beef with even me on Twitter at one point, and now most recently with Brad Taste in Music, hitting him up in DMs to relish in the fact that I guess Ronnie had some of Brad's videos taken down, which, man, he's really loving. He's really loving that. So sad, so fragile, so sensitive.
Now, at the time this went down, I actually made a video on this channel where I talked about all of this and said I didn't like that Ronnie was engaging in this behavior. Whether he personally filed this copyright claim or not, you know, I think to celebrate the censorship of criticism under the guise of like protecting intellectual property when Brad didn't really violate his stuff is really dumb, in my opinion. And at the time, Ronnie actually messaged me about this on Instagram, which is funny. Like, why is Ronnie Radke messaging me? I do not know. I'm a YouTuber. He is a famous rock artist. There's no reason to do that. But he messaged me basically and was like, look, Tom, I haven't seen your video. But he said that if what I was saying in the video was that he had taken down Brad's video actively, then I needed to correct the record, because in his words, he was only cheering on what the label had done. He himself did not actually get the video taken down and like file the strike, which, you know, I guess he's right there ultimately. And that is what I said in my video. I said, you know what, we don't know if Ronnie personally filed this strike. All we know is that he celebrated it, and that does seem to be the case. But I don't really care about that delineation personally. Like, I still think that Ronnie showed himself to be unable to handle criticism there. But that's really all.
Well, yeah, because, well, obviously if they're celebrating the, you know, the record label just find like a false copyright strike or claim, whatever, obviously they have like some sort of like guilt to it. Like, obviously if they're celebrating, then obviously they're happy about it, and they're just doing it because, well, they just don't like criticism.
All I said in that video. I was pretty, you know, tame, pretty middle of the road, as I always am. As you guys all know, I'm a massive fence sitter. So, yeah, I wasn't too harsh on Ronnie for that, despite him cheering on what I saw as the censorship of a relatively harmless music review channel. But when Fantano talked about this, he said a lot more than I did.
Whether he's using his Twitter page to harass and shut down people trying to talk about their experiences having been sexually assaulted, and he doesn't do the same thing that maybe some other artists do. When they're hit with similar allegations, they might make a statement. They might apologize. They might disappear into the shadows, never to be heard from again because they're cowardly pieces of shit. But no, not Ronald. Ronald doubles down and sues. On top of this, he's had domestic violence charges too against him, which were ultimately dismissed, true. But the fact that all of this behavior is piling up here is quite sussy-wussy, which is a legal term.
I think
Please don't fucking say that again. I hate that.
from this clip alone, we can see that
I'm being serious, Chad. I fucking hate these types of terms now. God damn it.
Anthony didn't do a great job of going through these allegations. He just kind of fires them off all point blank with no real elaboration or further commentary or further information about it. I think he could have done a much better job here going through all of it more carefully. If you know, if you want to get into allegations like that, I think you got to do a little more. I mean, you can obviously mention allegations and the existence of them offhandedly if you want, but if you're going to take a stance of seemingly believing the victim and then just saying like, well, he sued the accuser without really getting into how he won that case and she lost a defamation suit, like it was determined in a court of law that she defamed him. I mean, it's kind of hard to justify dealing with allegations like that, right? Like, Anthony did not do a good job at all. I don't like Ronnie Radke that much. You know, I think he is an insecure person in a lot of cases. It seems that way to me. He seems to be like reading every single thing anyone says about him, and he takes a lot of offense to it. Like when he cheered on Brad being striked for just reviewing his music. And I would call what Brad did ultimately like fair use of the content for the purpose of criticism. You know, Ronnie sucks in that case. But when you get into the legal stuff and the more specific allegations about certain people, you really have to be careful with that kind of thing. And Anthony Fantano did not do that. There's another weird instance in that clip when Fantano says the word sexual assault at this point in time in the video.
Whether he's using his Twitter page to harass and shut down people trying to talk about their experiences having been sexually assaulted.
But if you even look at the screenshots that are there on screen, the accuser he's talking about doesn't even use the word sexual assault. This is a different allegation than the false allegation that Casey Boswell made. And I looked into this stuff during my prior video, so I can kind of get into it here. Basically, Ronnie was somewhat informally accused of simple assault on Twitter, not, you know, not sexual assault, just assault, like, pow, 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 I'm Jake Paul. He was accused of that on Twitter, essentially with no evidence to corroborate it, which prompted him to respond by calling the accuser massive. He called her massive, as in big boned. And
Yeah, you're at 8'7" looking in that picture saying I threw your ass against a van, you lying ass fucking bitch. I did not play with that false shit. I'll take every last cent from you. You cannot stand that I'm doing good. Why do you think this kind of attention? Oh, why do you need this type of attention, bro? Jesus Christ, this guy's so unhinged.
And he also told her that he will take every last dollar from her for defaming him. Hello, base department? This girl claimed that he choked her 8 years prior to the allegation at an event, and this obviously sparked a lot of discussion among fans and detractors, and one of the people who weighed in here was Andy Sizek. He's got one of those Russian names. Imagine being Slavic. He's like a YouTube music guy. He's the singer of the band Monuments and another band called Makari, I hardly know her. And Andy at the time tagged Ronnie in this accusation, hoping that he would address whatever happened here. And Ronnie, in return, would basically tell him to not get involved in something he can't get out of. He's like, hey, I'm Heisenberg. I am the danger. Andy was pretty shocked at that response, and he ended up responding. And he basically was like, look, I'm just trying to make the scene a more inclusive space for everyone, okay? I'm trying to get to the bottom of this, and I think it's important to respond. You know, there's this quote from him on Twitter where he says, I'm not interested in starting a war. However, this is a very serious accusation and goes well beyond just acting like an asshole. Those of us in the music world have a responsibility to hold others accountable if their behavior is dangerous. Andy went on to express his disdain at many of his heroes and Warped Tour icons supposedly ending up being sexual predators. And if you guys have listened to like Warped Tour music like Pierce the Veil or A Day to Remember, you guys know there's like some allegations against certain members of those bands. Like the drummer from Pierce the Veil was accused by a girl who said when she was like, I want to say 15 or 16, that essentially something bad had happened to her by that guy, and that guy ended up being removed from the band. And a similar thing happened to one of the guys in A Day to Remember, which is my personal favorite band. The bassist was accused of something bad, and it
Jesus Christ, there's so many sexual deviants there.
resulted in him leaving the band.
Allegedly.
Ultimately. So, you know, I can understand to an extent Andy's sort of upsettedness, his anger, his rage at seeing that some of these people, you know, may have not been the greatest guys in the world. But after that, he would make a big mistake because he would call Ronnie the Bill Cosby of alt music.
Damn, okay.
Kind of a, you know, if you know what Bill Cosby apparently did, like, doy, not the smartest comparison. And his evidence for this comparison was basically like the amount of accusations levied at Radke rather than their validity. And he really didn't delve into what was true and what was not, which is kind of a similar thing to what Fantano did. Ronnie ended up posting a very scathing response on TikTok where he said that Andy was just some guy he'd never heard of talking shit to gain some buzz off of his name. And Ronnie would ultimately end this whole beef with a tweet saying, guys in a band I never heard of talking shit, dudes in bands I grew up listening to fully support me. Cope, you're coping. Ronnie's accusing you of coping and you're coping and seething. He would later add, I'm gonna start doing what Andy Sizek does and blame it on autism every time I say something crazy. Damn, Andy's just like Brad Taste for real. I did it because I was...
Oh my god, hold on.
Time I say something crazy. Damn, Andy's just...
Addressing the racism. And he also made like a video recently, I forgot what it was. We might get into that if we ever got the chance.
Like Brad Taste for real. I did it because I was disabled. Now, all of the tweets around this, aside from that last one, have been deleted as far as I can tell, so ultimately the Twitter beef was kind of settled, but despite that, Fantano would include some stuff from Andy Sizek in his video and not really critically go into it or interpret it in any way. Now, in that video, as far as I can tell, Fantano does differentiate that the Casey Boswell allegation is different from this Australian woman who accused Ronnie of assault, like physical assault, but he does mislabel the allegation of assault as sexual assault when really that's not even what the accusation was. So overall, you can tell from this video his coverage was very sloppy. But the question you and I are asking today is, did Anthony Fantano commit defamation? Did he defame Ronnie Radke, legally speaking? Because Ronnie himself has recently filed a defamation lawsuit against the internet's busiest music nerd.
This man just said that I sexually assaulted someone, pretty much. He's implying that I did it. He's implying I did it because he's saying that I doubled down on literally getting accused of something that never happened.
It does seem to me personally like Fantano did imply in his video that Ronnie was guilty of these allegations. I don't think you can deny that from watching his video. I mean,
for sure.
That one clip where Fantano...
You know, he's like saying, of course you're going to be hiding behind all this stuff. Allegedly. I'm just saying that myself because, Chad, I don't want to get sued by this guy either.
says that Ronnie bullies people who speak out about their experiences being sexually assaulted by him. I mean, he's basically implying there that it definitely happened, right? That's what he's saying. And then you've also got that other clip where he says that Ronnie's response is to sue the victims in question of these scenarios, without going on to explain that ultimately Ronnie won that lawsuit and that person was determined in court to have defamed him. I mean, you know, it's really just some very sloppy, slobbery coverage of a complicated situation that I don't think he did a very good job of going over. He could have done way better justice to this story than just rapid firing a bunch of shit and seemingly not really looking into it at all.
Fantano himself directly accuses plaintiff of using his Twitter page to harass and shut down people trying to talk about their experiences having been sexually assaulted by Radke, adding, as he speaks these words into the camera, Fantano simultaneously displayed on the screen entirely falsified accusations about Mr. Radke made last year by an Australian woman named Bree Jamieson. The woman accused Radke of throwing her against a van and choking her. The suit adds, contrary to Fantano's mischaracterization, Ms. Jamieson did not actually claim to have been sexually assaulted by Radke. She falsely charged that he physically assaulted her, which he categorically did not do. It says there were several other passengers in the van she drove for the 2015 tour, and no one observed anything that she contended occurred. Continuing, Ms. Jamieson voluntarily deleted the above referenced tweet, as well as others about Radke. Speaking through legal counsel, Ms. Jamieson indicated that she does not currently intend to make any further public comments about Radke.
Now, the problem Fantano seems to have gotten himself into here is that he, like I said, rapid-fired off information about a ton of accusations made towards Ronnie without any real desire to delve deeper into what was said, who was right versus who was wrong, and if there was any merit to these allegations in the first place. I mean, he did that with two specific ones that we saw, and he didn't really manage to, determine what the truth was of those. He did very shitty reporting. He implied that many of the accusations were true as well, despite the fact that in the case with the Australian woman who claimed physical assault happened, there was no proof of it. She ended up shutting her mouth about it once lawyers got involved. And Ronnie also, like I said, won a defamation suit against the other accuser, which is definitely something that Ronald's lawyers intend to really hone in on.
The suit continues. Immediately following his republication of Miss Jamieson's libel in the video, Fantano then displays on screen false and defamatory quotes by a woman named Caitlin Casey Boswell, as well as Levi Rounds, along with the headline from a June 10th, 2015 article on the Metal Sucks website. Above the three images, Fantano writes, "These are separate allegations." They were not. The attorney notes, "The police did not arrest Radke. The prosecutor did not charge Radke. Radke was not required to post bail. No restrictions were placed on Radke's movements. Radke later sued the accuser, with the judge entering a judgment in Radke's favor in July of 2016. But the suit contends that Fantano made no mention of the fact that Radke was vindicated in a courtroom. The suit alleges that Fantano acted with malice and knew at the time he made the defamatory statements that they were false, or acted with reckless disregard for the truth or falsity of his statements.
So I'm not a lawyer, but in my opinion, I don't think Fantano necessarily acted with direct malice here. But as for reckless disregard for the truth,
Well, yeah, for sure. Hold on, let me just...
my impression from the video itself is that Fantano didn't really care about the details of these accusations. He just saw that Ronnie had done something shitty to Brad by cheering on the copyright, strikes. And as a result, he felt it was more than justified to make a video calling him a bad person. And that...
Well, yeah, that's what happened. Obviously, he saw what was going on with Brad, and he's like, you know what, fuck this guy, I'm going to bring up the accusations, which were already, they were already basically closed, the case, they already went to court, and he won, and obviously the victims, or, the people who, the accusers, they lost. But of course he didn't care because he just wanted to shit talk about Randy because they were having some beef. And obviously, as we all know, Randy doesn't take things so lightly when it comes to criticism or people just shit talking him. So yeah, of course he's gonna sue him for defamation. But it's kind of hard to say if it is defamation because, well, like Tom said, he didn't do it intentionally. Well, kinda, because he's trying to say oh, look at all this terrible shitty things that you did, Randy. But obviously he probably knew about the case, or he didn't know. I'm not sure, the whole thing being settled, or the fact that Randy won. think that Randy was actually doing all this stuff. He's just trying to bring up the shit that happened without, mentioning that the whole thing's been settled, or it didn't get settled. But like I already said this before, but Randy won.
Alone, that part alone, as far as calling out Ronnie for what he did, cheer on for Brad, I agree with that. But what I don't agree with is firing off information about all these.
Oh, what I mean by Randy, I meant Ronnie. Fuck, I don't know how I messed up that name.
Accusations without really clarifying it, without delving into any of it, and without really trying to pick it apart and do, good reporting. When you're a public figure on YouTube, realistically, you have a responsibility to try to get to the bottom of things and to, if you don't want to do that, just shut the fuck up about it, and Fantano didn't do that. So in my opinion, whether or not Anthony loses in court, I still think he made a really shitty video that definitely spread some false information at the very least, and I think he should change how he covers things in the future, because this will, get him into more trouble legally, probably. It will also, spread misinformation, which, hot take, that's a bad thing to do. But the real question...
Yeah. So it's kind of like what I said, but obviously I wasn't really 100% sure, but I guess now I can just fully say it. But obviously this is my opinion, of course. I'm not copying Tom or anything, but obviously Fantano was obviously he wanted to make a video shit talking about Ronnie because, well, Brad Taze, like I already said earlier. But of course, as a journalist, he should have brought up the fact that hey, like these accusations were already debunked a long time ago, especially in court. But that's obviously for a hit piece video, he's gonna obviously bring up the accusations. But yeah, both sides. Obviously, Ronnie, Ronnie does have some ammunition for this case, but obviously he's still a bit of a shithead, or no, not shithead, a dickhead, because, well, for the copyright with Brad Taste, even though Brad Taste nowadays is a piece of shit, I fucking hate him. But at the same time, Anthony Fantano, he should have done a better job as a reporter. He shouldn't just say like, "Oh, look at all these terrible things that you did, Ronnie." But those accusations and questions were already, long time already, for like a couple years already. They've already been debunked. Because now hopefully Fantano can just tone down like all that type of stuff, like just stop spreading false information.
Here is going to be, what are the lawyers going to decide? What should happen? As an article by Stereo Gum points out, recently music artists have really been cracking down on YouTubers, like in 2022 when Cardi B won a massive lawsuit against a music channel, in which case she won $4 million.
It was never in my favor. That was an international superstar coming after a blogger with 200,000 followers. Okay? She had millions flagging videos, taking down Instagrams. This is my 4th Instagram right now. But for me, I was like, it could be billions of people. What I feel is what I feel. I've always been that way.
Cardi B sued her for what she claimed was a malicious campaign of posts, which claimed that Cardi B had contracted STDs and abused drugs. The trial lasted a total of 1 week and was an absolute blowout, at which point this YouTuber was found liable on 3 separate claims of defamation. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how this case will go with Anthony, but regardless of if he loses or not, he's got to reconsider how he covers this stuff, as I said before. But honestly, I doubt that we'll get a statement from him anytime soon, because this lawsuit is ongoing, and honestly, he doesn't stand to benefit from commenting on it publicly at this point. He could cause himself more problems if he talks about it again. If he goes into these allegations again, he could face some serious repercussions. So I don't think we're going to hear anything about this until either Ronnie drops the lawsuit for whatever reason, or he wins, or he somehow loses, and then we'll, maybe get an update from either side. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe.
Yes, this is going to be an interesting lawsuit. Obviously, both sides did some bad, and there's definitely some ammunition against each other, so let's see how this is going to go. Is Anthony going to win? Is Ronnie going to win? Is this going to be settled? Let's see. Well, at some point in the future. Obviously, this happened just a day ago.
To the main channel, Turkey Tom, where you can watch the new almost 4-hour-long Daniel Larson video. Highly recommended viewing for any astute intellectuals like me. You can subscribe to this channel for more videos like this about ongoing internet stuff. You can subscribe to the Tom Dark Live channel for live stream clips where I cover stuff in a more relaxed, chill way. I'm just a chill guy.
Well, it's basically done and over with. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Hopefully, the lawsuit, hopefully, well, I don't want to, obviously I wanted to end. I obviously want someone to win. It's kind of hard to say because obviously both sides did good, some of them did bad, so it's going to be kind of interesting how this will go out. So yeah, that's basically the whole situation right now with Anthony Fantano. Obviously, we gotta wait, and let's see how everything goes.